to continue the program, we have a discussion on the green horizon when Boardroom decide the fate of the planet. This is going to be given by Professor Douglas Boateng, Executive Chair, PanAvest International and Partners. Please let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning. I hope you've all had your breakfast. It sounds a bit, GIMPA did not give breakfast this morning. I'm a bit concerned, the sound of your voice. Good morning. That's better, that's better. I'm indeed honored to be here, and thank you very much. You know, when I see the youth, I get very excited. I see a lot of them here. ESG is about you. You know, so thanks for making time. And I hope what I'm going to say today resonates with yourselves. The future is yours, but you also need to be able to participate to make it a better future. You can't just leave it to us to do it for you. There is a picture you see up there, and it was posted a couple of days ago, and there's been an incredible interest in terms of the implications. It hits a raw nerve among not just Ghanaians, but across the entire continent. Please think about it and let it resonate with your good selves. Okay. Distinguished guests, policymaker, chair of the event, business leaders, academics, fellow custodians of tomorrow, good morning. There was a time when the destiny of nations was decided in parliaments and on battlefields. Today, it is decided in boardrooms, where signatures can heal or harm, where silence can sustain or suffocate. We live in an age where the earth no longer shouts. It wheezes. The rivers whisper warnings. You've seen it. The Pra and the Ankobra and many more. And the skies plead with restraint. Yet in too many boardrooms, quarterly profits still speak louder than planetary pain. The earth does not send invoices, but one day it will collect interest with compounded consequences. Governance was meant to be the conscience of capitalism. But when conscience is outsourced, greed becomes policy. Greed becomes policy. And negligence becomes culture. When I was driving in, I saw a lot of trees. I'm a dendrophile. You know what dendrophile means? Lover of trees. And for me, it was rather unfortunate. I saw a lot of trees that had been cut, chopped, sometimes for no reason. That is part of governance of GIMPA. It's GIMPA's responsibility to make sure that the trees are not chopped, because there's implications for the environment. Governance, again, was meant to be the conscience of capitalism. But unfortunately, greed in society has taken over. You know, when I hear about these environmental criminals that I believe should be sent to prison for at least 25 years, not 5 years, as advocated by the president, they talk about being unemployed. Does it give you the right to destroy the environment when you are unemployed? The answer is no. Yes, we all have our challenges, but it doesn't mean that we have to go and commit a crime. They have no idea what they are doing to their own children. 10, 15 years down the line, then they will see the consequences, what they've done to their own community. But it's not them alone that are going to suffer. All of us. Because the bill for health care will be borne by the tax man, which includes all of us in this room. So let's not sit in Accra and think what is happening to Obodom, what is happening in Carrier is just going to affect them. It affects all of us. And now it's even transcending and going into countries like Ivory Coast, our neighbors. This is all part of ESG. It's our responsibility to make sure that we keep these horrific crimes to a minimum. In 2023 alone, the world lost 10 million hectares of forest, the equivalent of 27 football fields every minute. Now we wonder why there's change in patterns, rain, flooding. And I see on TikTok, flooding here, flooding there, is because of our negligence. A single spill of oil in Niger Delta destroyed livelihoods for decades, while illegal gold mining, illegal mining of cobalt, illegal mining of copper is poisoning rivers that once gave life to communities. This is not merely an environmental tragedy. It is a governance failure in slow motion. When leadership thinks only in 4 to 5 year cycles, the environment becomes collateral damage to ambition. You know, the youth in here, let me be frank with you. The issue of Galamsey is deep, and don't expect it to be solved within 4 to 5 years. It's not going to happen. So, when you go to the next election and you are voting, vote for who is going to make sure that that problem is solved forever. Not just on a 5 year cycle. It's not going to happen. So please think very carefully. It's your future. Some of us in here, unless there's obviously what you call AI to keep us going, we will not be around in 50 years. No medication can save us. I'm only 25, by the way. You know, the late Wangari Maathai once said, you cannot protect the environment unless you empower the people. She was right. Governance without grounded citizens in paperwork is on borrowed time. The future of the planet is not being shaped at climate summits. It's being signed off in procurement meetings. What we buy, what we consume, investment committees, and executive sessions. Every boardroom today is a miniature United Nations. The chairperson's pen is more powerful than the protester's placard. What we sign in the boardroom and chair a couple of boards has an implication on yourselves. Africa today holds 60% of the world's solar potential and 30% of its mineral wealth. Yet, we still import finished goods made from our own resources, extracted at environmental cost and exported without conscience. I'm looking around and I see a lot of you have socks on. Do you know where it's coming from? A lot of you in here have underwear on. At least some of you. Do you know where it's coming from? Africa has just become a consumption society, but we don't even check where we buy our things from. There's implication for ESG. You might not be aware. That is what powers industrialization. We import, but we don't produce. Then we sit in boardrooms and talk about industrialization. At least South Africa is doing well. It's still among the top 50 most industrialized economies in the world. It has a strong manufacturing base that is helping to power at least the SADC region. You know, from Ghana's polluted rivers to Zambia's abandoned mines, the tragedy is the same. Wealth beneath, poverty above. Wealth beneath, poverty above. The hand that holds a resource must also have the responsibility. According to the IMF, degradation costs developing economies up to 5% of their GDP annually. In sub-Saharan Africa, 30 million people have been pushed into extreme poverty in just 1 decade due to climate-related disasters. Every flood, every polluted well, every drought-induced migration is a receipt from governance failure. Short-termism is now the new corruption. It robs the unborn, you, while smiling at shareholders. Short-termism is the new corruption. It robs the unborn while smiling at shareholders. We have become experts at public relations and amateurs at preservation. We plant trees for photo shoots, not for oxygen. Every year you hear we're planting trees. Have we even gone back to see how many of the trees have survived? We don't even monitor, but every year we do that. It is the responsibility of all of us to protect our trees. We hold sustainability summits in hotel rooms cooled by diesel generators when we have the sun. Across the continents, corporations pledge net zero while quietly investing in coal and oil. In the modern theater of morality, where virtue is marketed and value is missing, we all suffer. ESG, environmental, social, and governance is not a Western acronym. It is an African philosophy of balance. We thrive when nature thrives. You know, in South Africa, there's something called Ubuntu. You know, togetherness. We are missing that. That is why we are having so many challenges in our society. Environmental responsibility is not about trees. It is about time and temperature. Time and temperature. So protect your trees. Social responsibility is not about donations. It is about dignity. It is about dignity. And then governance is not about meetings. It is about meeting and having responsibility and taking accountability for your own actions. Japan rebuilt after the war by treating waste as a national sin. Norway created a sovereign wealth fund that invests in responsibility. The United Arab Emirates turned deserts into solar farms. What are we doing with our own sun here? Rwanda banned plastic and built one of Africa's cleanest cities. You are all guilty. You go around when you buy things and you put it in mutomo kokonoa. Na mudi agu plastic bag ni mudi we ya ana matwacho from ho. Then you go and blame government. You are responsible. I saw one I was just walking in here and I just laughed. But you were attending an ESG meeting and you were throwing your plastic. I should have taken a picture and showed it here. We are our own worst enemies. These are lessons of disciplined governance. If governance takes seed, sustainability is a harvest. If boardrooms fail, believe you me, nations bleed. The earth is already recalculating its balance sheet. Floods, wildfire, droughts. The world and planet Earth is recalculating. And there are consequences for all of us if we don't change. Nature is not in rebellion. It is simply collecting what it is owed. So, What can Ghana and Africa do starting today? Make ESG measurable, not ornamental. Require every listed company to disclose environmental data as clearly as profits. How many companies declare environmental data? But every year we hear about profits. Create national green investment banks to fund restoration and renewable projects. Empower local governments to monitor and sanction pollution. Reform public procurement, because what you buy have implications. No contract to any company must be given if it fails basic ESG standards. It's very, very important. Turn waste into wealth. South Africa recycling industry now employs over 60,000 people. Kenya has done the same by reducing marine waste by 70%. What can we do as a country? We are part of the continent, just separated by artificial borders. We must empower the youth. Ghana's Youth Start and Rwanda's Green Fund can create thousands of green jobs. Africa's next billion-dollar industries, please take note of this. Africa's next billion-dollar industries will not be coming from oil, but in clean energy, recycling, and sustainable agriculture. This is the future that you guys have to look at. I know agriculture is not sexy, but believe you me, there's a lot of opportunities for yourselves. Don't always look at offices. Go back to the land, because there is a lot of opportunities there. Governance must move from compliance to conscience. Governance must move from compliance to conscience, from paper to practice, from signatures to substance. The boardroom must treat the earth as its silent shareholder, whose dividends are measured in clean air, clean rivers, protected trees and forests, and generational survivor. That is you. Despite the current chaos, hope remains abundant. Oh yes, there is still hope. Young Africans are designing solar-powered irrigation systems, cassava-based packaging, and homes built with recycle. There is still hope. There's no give up. Slow progress for me is better than no progress. The green economy is not a dream, it is a reality. It is already happening. It is $1 trillion opportunity waiting for courage and discipline. Oh yes, you can participate as the youth. The sun does not rise over Africa. Should no longer be just for foreign factories. You can also build factories. Most of these big conglomerates in the world were started by somebody. So can you. The green horizon is not a distant dream. It is a reality once again. It is a decision waiting in every boardroom today, which some of us are part of. If we get ESG right, humanity will heal. The earth would heal. If we get it wrong, our children and yourselves will inherit a planet that remembers us only for our waste and irresponsibility. Let this be our covenant, that we will not leave behind a world richer in regrets than in resources. Let's not leave the world behind richer in regrets and not in resources. History will not remember our titles. It will remember the air our grandchildren breathe. May the Almighty bless our continent and our beloved Ghana. Thank you.